Hi, I'm Mrs. D Math. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be covering algebraic representations of dilations in 8th grade math. This video goes along with the properties of dilations, which you can find linked below. So a dilation is when an image enlarges or reduces size using a fixed point or center of dilation and a scale factor k. If you've already watched the properties of dilations, then you've already gone over this definition with us. But we're going to look here at the algebraic representations of these dilations. So here we have our original triangle ABC. We're going to write an algebraic rule to describe a dilation with a scale factor of 1.5, and then we're going to draw our new image. So our rule here is telling us that our x and y value are going to multiply by k, our scale factor. So we're going to multiply 1.5, that's our scale factor, times x, and 1.5 times y. And that's going to increase both of those values by 1.5. And then we're going to have our new points that we can graph. So we're going to start with our A, and point A, the original point A, is at 2, 5. So our rule says that we are going to multiply for A prime 1.5 times 2 and 1.5 times 5. So let's go ahead and plot those over here on our graph. So 1.5 times 2 is 3, and 1.5 times 5 is 7.5. So I'm going to go right 3 and then up 7.5. So this is my A prime. My B is at 2, 3. My rule says for B prime, I'm going to multiply 1.5 times 2 and 1.5 times 3. I already multiplied 1.5 times 2. For my A, I got 3. 1.5 times 3 is 4.5. So my B prime is at 3, 4.5. My C originally was at 5, 3. So C prime is going to increase by multiplying both of those values times 1.5. So my new point is going to be at 7.5, 4.5. So C prime is at 7.5, 4.5. So my line kind of went through the B prime, but you can see my new ABC prime triangle here, and it has increased. Everything is increased by 1.5. Now, did this dilated image enlarge or reduce? And in this case, I can clearly see that my image has enlarged. It's gotten bigger, and I did multiply times 1.5. So my scale factor was 1.5 times each x and each y value to enlarge my figure. So why would a dilation enlarge and why would a dilation reduce? Let's look here at another image. We have ABCD, a quadrilateral. My algebraic rule for this one is a scale factor of 1/2. So that means that I'm going to start with my original xy. My rule says that I'm going to multiply 1/2 times x and 1/2 times y. So let's look at our first one. Point A is at -4. So I'm going to multiply 1/2 times -4. And then my y is at 10. So that's going to be 1/2 times 10. So my new prime point is at -2, 5. So we'll go ahead and put that over here. This is my A prime. So we'll go to the B position. So I'm going to take half of my x, which is 8, and half of my y, which is also 8. So my new point for my B prime is 4, 4. And I can go ahead and label those on my graph. C prime, I'm going to take half of 8 and half of -10. So now I am going to be at 4, -5. Label that here, C prime. For D prime, I'm going to take half of -6 and half of -8. So my new point D prime is at -3, negative 4. So I only reduced my image by half, which means all of my points still stayed negative, positive, or positive, positive, or positive, negative, and negative, negative. So they're staying in the same quadrant, but my entire shape here ended up getting smaller. Did the size of the quadrilateral enlarge or reduce? And in this case, it ended up reducing. But let's talk about why we got smaller this time. So before we multiplied by a scale factor of 1.5 and it got larger. Now we're multiplying by a scale factor of 1/2 and it reduced. So your rule for you to understand is if your K or your scale factor is greater than 1, you're going to enlarge your image. If your K or your scale factor is less than 1, it's going to reduce your image. So just like when we multiply by a fraction, our answer gets smaller, or if we multiply by a decimal, our answer gets smaller. So we're going to be reducing if we're multiplying by a scale factor of less than 1. You're going to enlarge if your scale factor is greater than 1. Thank you for joining me for algebraic representations of dilations in 8th grade math. I hope this video helped you understand the properties of dilations a little bit better. I'm Mrs.D Math. Have a great day. Bye.